Brace yourselves because what just unfolded on the global stage isn't just a headline, it's a seismic shockwave designed to shatter everything you thought you knew about international diplomacy and power. Today, the world witnessed a brazen, unilateral strike that ripped through the fragile fabric of Middle Eastern stability, exposing a chilling disregard for international law and a dangerous escalation of tensions. This isn't just about geopolitics. It's about the raw, unhinged ambition of players willing to gamble with global peace. We're about to pull back the curtain on the true cost of this reckless aggression, revealing the hidden agendas and the terrifying implications for every single one of us. If you're ready to face the unfiltered truth and understand the real forces at play, hit that like button and subscribe now. Because the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, demands to be seen. Today, June 19th, 2025, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a unilateral military strike targeting Iran's nuclear facilities and ballistic missile sites. This aggressive action occurred amidst ongoing international negotiations regarding Iran's nuclear program, sending shockwaves across the Middle East and global markets. The attack, confirmed by Al Jazeera, with explosions heard in Tehran and Natanz, directly targeted what Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program, including key scientists and ballistic missile capabilities. Notably, Iran's top military commander, General Hossein Salami, head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, was reportedly killed in the strikes. This unprecedented escalation raises critical questions. Was this a calculated move to derail diplomacy? What does it mean for regional stability? And how will the world react to such a blatant disregard for international efforts toward peace? The events leading up to Operation Rising Lion reveal a complex web of diplomatic failures and escalating rhetoric. Just hours before the strike, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, reported that Iran was not complying with uranium enrichment restrictions for the first time in 2 decades, adding fuel to an already volatile situation. Despite this, U.S. President Donald Trump had publicly expressed a preference for a diplomatic solution, warning that any attack could lead to a massive conflict. Yet Israel proceeded, seemingly disregarding its closest allies' public stance. The immediate aftermath saw dramatic shifts in global financial markets. Bitcoin, often a barometer of global instability, plummeted more than 4% in 24 hours, falling to $103,900. U.S. stock index futures and European markets each dropped approximately 1.5%, reflecting widespread investor anxiety. Conversely, safe haven assets surged. Gold climbed 0.75% to $3,428 per ounce, and crude oil prices jumped a staggering 9% to $74 a barrel, signaling fears of supply disruptions. Bond prices also rose, pushing the U.S. 10-year Treasury yield down to 4.32%. The U.S. dollar strengthened against the euro and British pound, but lost ground against the Japanese yen and Swiss franc, indicating a flight to traditional safe currencies. On Polymarket, a prediction platform, traders had assigned less than a 30% chance of an Israeli strike against Iran before July, highlighting the unexpected nature of the attack. In the U.S. Congress, the response has been mixed. While some Republican war hawks have pushed for intervention, anti-war members like Rep. Ro Khanna, D. Khalifashian, and Senator Bernie Sanders, IVT, have urgently called for legislative efforts to avert an unauthorized U.S. attack. Sanders, recalling Netanyahu's incorrect predictions about Iraq's WMDs in 2002, stated, "Netanyahu was wrong then. He is wrong now. We must not get involved in Netanyahu's war against Iran." Despite new polling showing a majority of Americans oppose U.S. military action in Iran, only 37 members of Congress have backed anti-war resolutions. This stark contrast between public sentiment and political action raises serious questions about representation and accountability in Washington. Let's be brutally honest. Operation Rising Lion isn't just a military maneuver. It's a masterclass in political deflection, a desperate attempt to change the channel when your own house is on fire. While the world's media scrambles to cover the new Middle East crisis, the ongoing humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, with its mass starvation and deeply unethical aid delivery, conveniently slips from the front page. It's the classic magician's trick. Look over here, a shiny new war. Don't mind the genocide happening right under your nose. Netanyahu, ever the showman, is playing the savior of Israel card, attempting to cement his endless legacy by eliminating a perceived Iranian nuclear threat. This from a leader facing outstanding fraud charges that would magically revive if peace ever broke out in occupied Palestine. It's almost Shakespearean in its cynicism, a tragic comedy where the protagonist's personal legal woes are directly proportional to the regional chaos he orchestrates. He couldn't rescue the hostages or defeat Hamas as a political actor after 600 days of genocidal violence, but suddenly he's a strategic genius against Iran. Please, it's less art of war and more art of distraction. The U.S. response is equally baffling, or perhaps terrifyingly predictable. Official disavowals of involvement from figures like Marco Rubio now appear to be a poorly rehearsed pantomime, designed not to genuinely distance the U.S., but to mislead Iran's retaliation planning. Trump's excellent endorsement of the aggression, coupled with his post-attack ultimatum for Iran, smacks of a bad cop, worse cop routine. It's a negotiation where one side demands unconditional surrender and then acts surprised when the other side doesn't take the chance. This isn't diplomacy, it's a strong man flexing with a side of, I told you so for good measure. And let's not forget the bipartisan support in the U.S. Congress. A reflex so automatic, it's almost Pavlovian. Congressional figures are tripping over themselves to associate U.S. interests with Israel's, completely ignoring the blatant lawlessness of a unilateral act of war and political assassinations. It's a political reality show where lawlessness is just another plot twist, and human rights are merely talking points for the commercial break. The fact that the UN has been notably silent, despite clear violations of charter articles, is less a surprise and more a confirmation of its tragic impotence in the face of realpolitik. It's like calling the fire department, and they respond by debating the philosophical implications of combustion while your house burns down. This isn't just a crisis of legitimacy for Israel. It's a full-blown existential meltdown for international norms. When peaceful settlement is code for unconditional surrender and diplomacy is a smokescreen for military aggression, what's left? A world where the loudest, most ruthless actors dictate the terms, and the rest of us are left to pick up the pieces. It's a terrifying preview of a future where might makes right isn't just a cynical proverb, but the guiding principle of global relations. And honestly, if this is the new normal, we should all be very, very afraid. The immediate and long-term implications of Operation Rising Lion are dire, threatening to unravel the already fragile stability of the Middle East and beyond. Experts warn that while Iran's initial retaliatory strategy may be limited, the assassination of General Hossein Salami could ignite a more unpredictable response in the future, even if Tehran avoids direct strikes on Israeli population centers or nuclear sites. The delicate balance of power has been fundamentally disrupted, and the region now teeters on the brink of a wider conflict. Economically, the impact is already being felt. The surge in oil prices and the dip in global stock markets are clear indicators of investor anxiety and the potential for prolonged instability. Should the conflict escalate, we could see sustained energy price hikes, supply chain disruptions, and a significant blow to global economic recovery. This isn't just about regional security. It's about the interconnectedness of the global economy, where a single military action can send ripples through every market. Politically, the strike deepens the entrenchment of U.S.-Israel ties, potentially at the expense of broader Western alliances and international law. Despite initial U.S. disavowals, Trump's subsequent endorsement of the Israeli aggression signals a dangerous precedent that unilateral military action, even against diplomatic efforts, can be rewarded. This could further erode international norms and weaken the authority of intergovernmental organizations like the UN, which has remained notably silent despite clear violations of its charter. The ongoing crisis in Gaza, already a humanitarian catastrophe, is likely to intensify. With attention diverted to Iran, the pressure on Israel to moderate its objectives in Gaza may lessen, potentially leading to further land seizures and ethnic cleansing in the occupied territories. The apartheid phase of the Zionist settler colonial project may be complete, but the genocidal phase appears far from over, with devastating consequences for the Palestinian people. Finally, the strike risks pushing countries like Russia, already facing setbacks in Ukraine, to align more closely with Iran, potentially leading to a dangerous confrontation with the U.S. While China has condemned the attack and advocated for peaceful resolution, the overall trend points towards a more fractured and volatile international landscape. The coming days will be crucial in determining whether diplomacy can still prevail or if the region is destined for a prolonged period of conflict and instability. In summary, Operation Rising Lion is far more than just a military strike. It's a stark reminder of how quickly geopolitical tensions can escalate, exposing the fragility of international diplomacy and the dangerous ambitions of those in power. We've seen markets react, alliances tested, and the very principles of international law challenged. The implications for global stability, human rights, and the future of the Middle East are profound and deeply concerning. Now, we want to hear from you. What's your take on this escalating crisis? Do you believe diplomacy still has a chance, or are we on the brink of a wider conflict? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Your voice matters in this critical conversation. If you found this breakdown insightful and believe in holding power accountable, please hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed with our sharp, unapologetic analysis of global events. We're committed to bringing you the truth, no matter how complex or uncomfortable. Join our community of informed citizens. See you in the next one, and stay vigilant.